Okay, so Age of Adaline, you've probably seen the posters for this up around the tube stations and things whenever you're going on the train, when you're going off to your celebrity gym.
Celebrity steam room.
So the story...
That is a chat show. It is a chat show idea right there.
Yeah, and can I just say that I said it first in the same way that I said I like Twinosaur. So essentially the best way of describing Age of Adaline is it's kind of like the conceit of The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, and that sort of literary longing of Time Traveller's Wife and the silliness of The Lake House. So the story is Age of Adaline, and it turns out that the title itself is a pun. Adaline is 29. At the beginning of the film, we see her getting a fake ID, and the guy says, well, you know what, why do you always say 29? Because, you could pass for younger than that. Why don't you just knock a few years off? She says, 29's fine. And then we sort of flash back, and it turns out that she's been 29 for a long time. It's like that moment in Let the Right One In, when he says, how old are you? And she says, I'm 13, but I've been 13 for a very long time. So there's a sort of vampire thing going on. And a voiceover explains that way back, she was involved in an accident. During the course of the accident, she was in a car fell, snow, car fell, car... Tommy Cooper, car, snow fell. Car fell into freezing cold water, body went down to a low body temperature, so everything went into stasis, struck by lightning. This stopped her aging cells happening. And no, it doesn't. And it says this is something that will be discovered by science in 2035. Okay, so therefore she's 29 forever. And then what happens is something which is not completely disconnected from the Twilight romance thing, which is that, it's fabulous, the idea of being young forever. But of course, actually, the problem is that you outlive everybody and you don't fit in with the human world. So she then has to spend the rest of her life regularly, every 10 years or so, moving, changing her identity, essentially not having any binding relationships with anybody because she's not going grown. She doesn't want to become a medical curiosity. She doesn't want to be somebody who stands out. She wants to blend in with the rest of the crowd. But if you stay with her for any more than 10 years, you notice that she isn't aging. She has a daughter. The daughter, of course, at the beginning of it is younger than her, but during the course of the movie, the daughter becomes older than her, and the older daughter is played by Ellen Burstyn, who is one of the very, very best things in the film. Anyway, so she's trying to to stay away, to keep everybody away from her, to sort of keep all emotional barriers down. And then there is a particularly hunky philanthropist who just will not take no for an answer, and she wonders whether maybe for the first time she's starting to melt. The Ice Queen is starting to melt, and her daughter thinks this is a very good idea. Here's a clip.
What's wrong? I'm just tired of running. Of lying to good people.
Then stop. Nobody's chasing you anymore. Anyone who is ever suspicious is long dead. You don't have to be alone forever. Don't you miss having someone to love? It's been such a long time.
Well, it's not the same when there's no future.
What are you talking about? You got nothing but future.
I mean a future together, of growing old together. Without that love is, it's just heartbreak.
So you get a sense from that, and the kind of that sensitive piano thing going on in the background. And it's that kind of film, okay. And on one level, it is preposterous, and certainly in the screening that I was in, when they did the deadpan scientific voiceover explanation of the falling in the water and the getting struck by lightning, everyone laughed. And I think that it's done that stuff is done in a knowingly deadpan way. But like any genre thing, like, say they're vampires. Why? Well, they were bitten by another vampire. Okay, fine. You just accept this is the thing. And the Curious Case of Benjamin Button, living his life backwards. Really? Okay, fine. We just accept that this is a thing. Time Traveller's Wife. What's the thing? Well, he travels in time. Oh, okay. Well, we just accept that this is the thing. So actually, maybe one of the missteps was even trying to explain why it is that she's just the same age forever and ever and ever. But within that sort of, foolish conceit, and I use the word foolish as in these foolish things sort of thing, I've found myself rather charmed by it. Not because funnily enough, the central couple, Blake Lively is the main, the Adaline character, although she's called lots of different things during the course of the movie. And Michael Huisman is Ellis, who's the guy who falls for it. Actually, they're a little bit bland, and I don't particularly buy their relationship. But Ellen Burstyn is terrific as the daughter, and Harrison Ford is really, really good as her paramour's father. And so exactly. And so what you get is this thing which is this sort of fanciful, kind of Nick Sparksy type, romance with all that.
I've never seen a Nick Sparks movie. I need to.
I can't believe you've never seen one.
I have never seen one, so
okay.
I need to see one very quickly because I don't get half this stuff.
I've got.
What's the best Nick Sparks movie I can go and see?
Oh, off the top of my head, Best to Me, maybe. Let me have a look and see which ones I've got. They're all basically the same. Anyway, can I finish reviewing this?
Yes.
So you've got, it's a foolish conceit, but romantic conceit that kind of works rather well. This sentimental, tonkly piano score going on in the background. A central couple in whom I'm not overly interested, falling over into balance. But then Ellen Burstyn, who, of course, was absolutely brilliant in Interstellar. When you see Interstellar again, I mean, Ellen Burstyn is only in it very fleetingly, but she's terrific. And in the case of this, the scenes with her and Blake Lively are terrific. And Harrison Ford does some of the best work he's done in Age, because you suddenly remember that when cast in a role that in which he's a sort of slightly... He plays Thunderstruck rather well. And he does it rather well. So all the stuff that's sort of missing from the core of the film is filled in enough by the peripheral players, by the older peripheral players, and I went with it. I mean, even in the screening room which I was in which there was titters and there was giggles, and
were they just a couple of your reviewing chums?
They were, yes, they were. I found myself. Because I like that idea. I like the vampire idea. I like the thing. I also like a movie which tells you the idea that somehow the inability to grow old is a bad thing. And wouldn't it be nice to be able to get a bit aging?